अतः स्मरामि हृदि संस्फुरदात्मतत्त्वं सच्चित्सुखं परमहं सगतिं तुरीयं यत्स्वप्नजागरसुषुप्तमवेति नित्यं तद्ब्रह्म निष्कलमहं न च भूतसङ्गः। We finished one round of study of Atma Bodha. We don't say we finished Atma Bodha. We have just got the first round of Atma Bodha is over. இன்னைக்கே செகண்ட் ரவுண்ட் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணல. We are not starting the second round today, so don't get you திருப்பி ஆத்ம போதாவா, don't get scared. All that we have been discussing in the last few months on Atma Bodha, we try to concise and get it. We try to attempt that. Atma is self, Bodha is knowledge. Knowledge of yourself. A very paradoxical name, because you don't need knowledge of yourself, you need knowledge of the other things. But here it is called Atma Bodha, the knowledge of the self. Yourself. Knowledge of the self is not a third entity, like you can know about it as an knowledge. And yet it is titled Atma Bodha, the knowledge of the self. All knowledges, any knowledge, adhikari is very important. Who is qualified to receive the knowledge is very important. Meaning, all are qualified to receive this knowledge provided they have gone through the preliminary preparations. Who is qualified to study medicine? Everybody, no? Theoretically speaking, everybody is qualified to study medicine. But who is qualified to actually get into medical college? The one who has gone through the initial preparation. The one who is qualified. So, knowledge means, first thing is the subject. What is the subject matter? The subject matter is the self, Brahman. In Vedanta, we don't pay much attention to the subject matter, Brahman. The first attention has to be paid to the one who is studying this knowledge. It means the one who is gaining this knowledge. Who is that? The individual. If he has to gain this knowledge, if that individual has to gain this knowledge, if that person has to gain this knowledge, a preparation is required. A initial preparation is required. That initial preparation makes you a adhikari to receive the to receive the knowledge. Without preparation, you cannot assimilate the knowledge. Without preparation, you cannot digest the knowledge. Without preparation, you can memorize the knowledge. Without preparation, you can give a discourse on this knowledge. Without preparation, you can make others believe that you know. For this, preparation is not required. If you have to assimilate the knowledge, if you have to digest the knowledge, preparation is required. That is very important to understand this. If you have to assimilate, digest, make the knowledge your own, certain preparatory practices are required. If you say, I am only interested in knowing, that's all. I am not interested in assimilating, digesting, transformation. We are not interested in that. Who told you that we are interested in that? Who came and said that we are interested in transformation? We are just, we just want to know what they are saying. That's all. We never asked for there is nothing in me to transform. What is there to transform? What is wrong with me that I have to transform? Everything is wrong with the other person. So with the knowledge, can you transform the other person? Mudiyadu. Then this knowledge becomes redundant, useless. So Vedanta says to hear this knowledge, to not in the true sense of the term, but to understand it, to speak about it, you can give a discourse about it. Others may also fall at your feet and they think that you are all knowing, and yet assimilation would not have happened. Now, Shankaracharya, all these great masters are not interested in making us scholars of knowledge. They are not interested in that. They are not interested in making us a scholar. They are not interested in making us into a teachers. They are not interested in that. They are not wanting to make us teachers to go out and correct the world. If they are really interested in the welfare of the world, they should just make all of us stand in line and shoot us down. That's all. World will be. If they are really interested in the welfare of the world, they should not allow us to go into the world. Still remember, long back, Swamiji said, "See, I'm not sending you guys outside only to save the world from you people. As it is, so much of disturbance and trouble is there. You guys will go and make it. So even if you are so these great masters are not interested in turning us into scholars, nor are they interested in giving us stimulation at the level of the intellect. Intellectually stimulate us and make us feel thrilled, entertained. The purpose is to assimilate, to digest. So, any textbook starts with the student who is qualified to receive the knowledge. So first what we saw who is the qualified student. Who is the qualified student to receive this knowledge? We saw that. I'm not getting into the details of it. We'll just try to summarize the whole thing. What are the qualifications? Viveka, Vairagya, Shat Sampat, Mumukshadva. These are the 4 qualifications. Viveka, Vairagya, Shat Sampat, and Mumukshadva. Viveka, a person who is not impulsive by nature, a person who is not emotional, impulsive. That's what is meant by Viveka. A person who is discriminatory. Discriminatory in the sense of a person who is, what is opposite of viveka? Aviveka. Aviveka means what? One who is impulsive by nature. A person who is victimized by the emotions is aviveki. Who is what is viveka? Viveka is a person who has the right discrimination. Right discrimination means not impulsive. What is being impulsive? What is being impulsive? All human beings are impulsive. What is being impulsive? Raga comes, you chase the raga. Dvesha comes, you entertain dvesha. This is called impulsive. Raga dvesha comes and you follow that. That is called indiscrimination, impulse. Now, what is viveka? What is discrimination? Raga comes, dvesha comes. You you go one step behind, investigate, find out if it is beneficial to you, pursue it. Not beneficial to you, you discard it. This lifestyle is called viveka. Yeah. இதெல்லாம் இருந்தா ஆத்மபோதா will be we would have digested ஆத்மபோதா. That's what he said. The patram, the vessel has to be made fit to receive the knowledge and retain the knowledge. That's what adhikari means. A vessel has to receive. The vessel has to receive and retain. You have a vessel full of holes. What do you do with that vessel? What is the point of that vessel? So, what is qualification? Adhikaritvam means people not understanding this adhikaritvam. They started saying these people are very discriminatory. They give only to a select few. Rest are all denied. It's like saying, who gave the authority to the NEET board to decide whether I am fit for medical study or not? Who decides that? For the welfare of the society, some wise men decides that. That's all. I'm not getting into the politics of NEET. Please, there are so many people who are involved in the politics of NEET. I know that. Yeah. I'm not getting into the politics of NEET. Who are you to discriminate? I choose. Who are you to decide? I decide. The vessel has to be fit to receive the knowledge and it has to retain the knowledge. If the vessel has to receive the knowledge and retain the knowledge, which is called patram, is called adhikaritvam. What all needs to be done? A few things has to be done. So what is the first one? Viveka, discrimination. Viveka is discrimination. And what is discrimination? We saw that. Mindlessly pursuing raga dvesha is impulsive, indiscrimination. Just getting carried away by that and pursuing that is indiscrimination. And what is discrimination? How to fulfill raga dvesha is indiscrimination. What is the consequences of fulfilling raga dvesha is discrimination. Whoever does this has viveka. Again, I repeat. How to fulfill my likes and dislikes, sir? This is, what is this called? Indiscrimination, aviveki. What is discrimination? I fulfill raga dvesha. I fulfill my likes and dislikes. What are the consequences of fulfilling this? A person who has the capacity to ask this question is a person who has discrimination. And that person is the vessel to receive the knowledge and retain the knowledge. That person would be able to receive it and retain it, not the one who acts, not the one who acts impulsively. And what does impulsively means? Likes and dislikes are there. How to fulfill? How to fulfill desires? How to fulfill likes and dislikes? Give us a method how to fulfill that. அதுக்கு ஒரு மெத்தட் சொல்லிக் கொடுங்க சார். இதெல்லாம் அப்புறம் பார்க்கலாம். ரிட்டயர்மெண்ட்டுக்கு அப்புறமா ஆஃப்டர் 75 இயர்ஸ் ஐ வில் சி. பட் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டெல் மீ ஹவு டு ஃபுல்ஃபில் லைக்ஸ் அண்ட் டிஸ்லைக்ஸ். பீஸ் அண்ட் ப்ராஸ்பெரிட்டி அட் த சேம் டைம். வாவ், நல்ல பேக்கேஜ் இது. It is a very good package. What is a very good package? I can. And then you come closer, very first class. You are told fulfilling raga dvesha when is enough? Enough. It will never end. So don't waste your time pursuing that. You feel like saying, but that's not what you said yesterday. You said you come here, peace and prosperity, Allah or only you brought us in, and now you are saying something different. It's like, you know, in the kindergarten section, what nowadays they call as preschool. Is it the right word, preschool? They have a particular name for that school. Preschool. In that preschool, the teacher will have some candies, some chocolates. Do you know that they have some candies, they have some sweet to attract the child, to make the child come and sit inside. The candy is for that purpose only. What is the candy's purpose? To make the child come and sit inside. Similarly, certain things. And then starts the real knowledge. What is the real knowledge? Viveki. What is Viveka? A person who asks this, who has this query about, a person who has this query about consequences of fulfilling Ragadvesha, not how to fulfill Ragadvesha. One kind of planning is how to fulfill my desires. How to fulfill my desires and what do I do with what I got. This is called planning. This is called aviveka in the language of Vedanta. This person who is doing this, we will not certify that person and say, what an intelligent man. Vedanta will not certify this person and say, what a brilliant, intelligent person. Vedanta will call this person as aviveki, a person who doesn't have viveka. So first qualification is viveka. Second qualification is vairagya. Vairagya is disconnecting from that which you thought as beneficial to you, which you thought is good to you, you disconnect from that. That is vairagya. What you thought is good to you, what you thought is beneficial to you, what you thought is beneficial to you. Desires, sir. Where is the difficulty? Desires. That's what is beneficial. That's what is good. So what is vairagya? Out of ignorance, that which you thought is beneficial to you, out of ignorance, that which you thought is helpful to you, you disconnect from that. That's called vairagya. Vairagya is the capacity to understand Raga Dvesha as enemies. That's Vairagya. That's that's the etymological meaning of the word Vairagya. That's etymological derivation. Ragi means one who is involved in desires. Ragi means Ragadvesha. One who is involved in Ragadvesha. Vairi means enemy. Vairi means enemy. These two, according when it combined into Sanskrit language, you get the word Vairagya. And what is Vairagya? The capacity in you, the understanding in you that have happened, that likes and dislikes are your enemies, and you make the effort to disconnect from that enemy. The effort that you make to disconnect from that enemy is called Vairagya. But sir, அது அவ்வளோ நல்லா இருக்குதே. Ragadvesha is so nice, is so pleasant, is so good. Now, how can that which is so pleasant and so good, why unnecessarily have to misunderstand it as enemy and all that and then disconnect from all that? Vairagya. Second is called discriminate. Viveka is discrimination. Number two, dispassion. Vairagya. Shat Sampat. 6 qualifications. The 6 things. What are the 6 things? The list: Shama, Dhamma, all that. Calmness, self-control, self-withdrawal, titiksha, shraddha, tranquility. The six qualities. These are not 6 qualities, these are 6 disciplines. Viveka, Vairagya, Viveka, discrimination, Vairagya, dispassion, Shat Sampat, discipline. 6 disciplines. The 6 disciplines that you have to follow. What are the 6 disciplines? Calmness. You come and sit in the class, the mind has to be calm relatively to receive the knowledge. Ukandan Rukumbode is so agitated, so disturbed enough. So calmness. A relative calmness to do Shravana. A relative calmness to do Shravana. That's why I will come very late, but you all have to come and sit 5 minutes in. Yeah, I will come very late only, but you have to come and sit 5 minutes in advance. Okay, sir, if 7:45 வந்துருவாரு 7:50 I will log in. That is lack of calmness. Yeah, calmness. What? You come, there is a calmness to receive Shravana. Calmness is for what? Calmness to receive the knowledge. Self-control. Self-control. Some basic self-control that person needs to have. Withdrawal. Self-withdrawal. Withdrawal means preoccupations. The mind that is occupied, which is preoccupied in useless things. You withdraw from the useless and direct the mind towards that something useful. This is called self-withdrawal. Actions is of 2 types. Useless actions, useful action. Actions is of two types. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya akarmakrit. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya akarmakrit. You cannot be akarma, inaction, even for a split second, Arjuna. Action keeps happening. Therefore, all actions boils down to 2 only. What are the 2? Useful action and useless actions. So, What do you withdraw from? What is self-withdrawal? Useless. As soon as I wake up in the morning, I need not check for the newspaper. I need not check for the WhatsApp messages. They can wait. You can reply 2 hours later. Nothing is going to happen. Useless action it is. So what is self-withdrawal? Not doing the useless action and redirecting it to useful action. This is called self. This is called self withdrawal. Second. The third thing is titiksha, endurance. I am practicing titiksha now, not to talk on titiksha. Yeah. Whenever I see this word titiksha, I will want to close my eyes. Yeah. Wonderful quality. Such a wonderful quality, titiksha. Cheerfulness. Not putting up with inconveniences, going through inconveniences, experiencing cheerful, experiencing difficulties cheerfully. Mumukshatva. Sorry. என்ன word சொன்ன? What is the word? யாரோ சொல்லுங்க. திதிக்ஷா அப்பாடா. திதிக்ஷா. Titiksha. Practice. You practice titiksha. You practice titiksha. Very, very important quality. Because you come out and contact the world. Titiksha is that which prevents you from developing dvesha. If you are practicing titiksha, that titiksha will prevent you from developing dvesha. If you don't have titiksha, you will end up having hatred, dvesha. Are you able to see the connection? So practice, another discipline is to practice titiksha. And another beautiful quality, shraddha, faith. Shraddha. Shraddha is a faith, a conviction in the law. Shraddha is a faith, a conviction in the law. That is Shraddha. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. The law. That is Shraddha. You lead a dharmic life, dharma will protect you. You obey the law protects you. This is Shraddha. You obey the law protects you. That is Shraddha. This Titiksha and Shraddha are two wonderful disciplines. Not that others are not wonderful, all are two things. Endurance and Shraddha. Tranquility. 6 disciplines. So, till now we have seen 3. What are the 3? Discrimination, dispassion, discipline. The last one is desire for liberation. Patram அப்படின்னா D 4D அப்படி போட்டு வச்சுக்கோங்க. If you are qualified to become a qualified patram, to become a qualified student, you need to have 4D. Ravindra, car mat வந்து 7D இல்லையா? Car mat 7D car mat. இது வந்து 4D. This is 4D. Yes, 7D car. அது அங்க 7D. இங்க 7லாம் இல்ல. 4D. What are the 4? Discrimination, dispassion, discipline, desire for liberation. When these four qualifications are there, when these four qualifications are there, tapobihi, tapas. Your lifestyle becomes a religious lifestyle, a life of tapas. When these four are done, when you are attending to these four, your lifestyle has turned into one of tapas. And what is tapas means? As a karta, I do that which I ought to do, disinterested in the results. As a bhokta, whatever comes, I accept it as a prasad. That is tapas. Again, I repeat, the human being is two. Actor, karta means actor. Bhokta means experiencer. Experiencing what? Experiencing the consequences of action. So, a human being is a combination of karta, bhokta. Karta and bhokta. That's why it's called kartrutvam and bhoktrutvam. Karta and bhokta. Karta means actor. Bhokta means experiencing the consequences of the action. So you at any given point of time, you are always a combination of two. Karta, bhokta. You are the doer and you experience the consequences of your doing. You are the doer and you experience the consequences of the doing. So, what is tapas? As a karta, I do that which as a karta, I do that which I ought to do. As a bhokta, whatsoever comes, I accept it as prasad. What is prasad buddhi means? Whatsoever the result is balanced. The capacity to endure, the power to accept it. All these put together is called karta and bhokta. Now, when you are doing these two, you are living a life of tapas. Now, the very important aspect of summary is over. What is the summary? What we have summarized till now? Who is qualified to receive the knowledge? Or if you want to assimilate, digest this knowledge, you need these qualifications. What are the qualifications? 4D. What are the 4D? 4D, nine. Discrimination, dispassion, discipline, desire for liberation. Second part of the preparation, life of tapas. What is life of, what does tapas means? What is the life of tapas? What is that? As a karta, I do that which I ought to do. As a bhokta, whatsoever comes, I accept it as prasada buddhi. We have summarized the discussion of the who is the one who is qualified to receive the knowledge. Now comes the knowledge. It is preparation. Then starts Atmabodha. Then starts the knowledge. What is the knowledge says? Knowledge says means the purpose of this knowledge is to give you is for moksha, liberation. The purpose of the entire practices is the purpose of very life itself. Whatsoever I do in life, whatsoever I avoid doing in life, all this is for what? For moksha, liberation. Then the knowledge starts. What is the primary means? What are the secondary means? What is the preparation? And what is it that is the direct? What is the secondary means? What are the secondary means? The combination of karma bhakti. Karma yoga and bhakti yoga is the preparation for the knowledge. Why do we say, please understand, we are not saying karma bhakti is inferior. Carefully follow. It's a preparation. Why karma and bhakti is a preparation? Because karma and bhakti has duality at its core. Jnanam is non-dual. In the discrimination you should have. Then you will understand where karma bhakti fits, where knowledge fits. If you don't understand this, people keep asking the same question. Why we don't talk about bhakti at all, or why we don't talk about this, why we don't talk about that? Karma and bhakti is one, jnanam is another. Karma and bhakti says, karma says, purify yourself. Bhakti says, be grateful. Karma says, perform your obligations, purify yourself. Bhakti yoga says, have gratitude. Hmm? All this means what? All this means purify yourself means you are impure. You are impure. Adha purify yourself. Gratitude, there's a due gratitude towards somebody. Yeah, you can't be, I am grateful to myself, sir, you will say, yeah. Gratitude is towards, therefore, gratitude is towards, it means what? Now, what is knowledge? What is knowledge? Pure, you are already. How can, are you able to see the difference? Are you able to see pure, you are already. So, jnanam is to come to this understanding, lot of preparatory practices have preparatory yogas. So karma yoga, bhakti yoga, shravana manana becomes the preparation for jnana yoga. First enna padichom? What did we study first? What did we study first? Class la irundhu ukkaradhukku qualification. Now that qualified student is listening to all this. Carefully understand the sequence. Now the qualified student is listening to this. What is he listening? Moksha is the goal. For that goal, there are two steps. There are two steps. So beautifully explained in chapter 3, verse number 3. Jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. There are two. One is karma, bhakti, shravana, manana combined. That is karma yogena yoginam. Do all these practices, mature yourself to gain this knowledge. Without those preparatory practices, you can never gain this knowledge. Why we are saying that? For in Atma Bodha, he said very clearly, knowledge is the direct means for liberation. Akasya vaknivad jnanam vina moksho na siddhyati. Knowledge is the direct means for liberation. For cooking, Preparations for cooking. What is the preparation for cooking? Vegetables. Chronologically, it will come. Huh? Chronologically, it will come. Vegetables. And then, no, sir, first money to buy vegetables. Where basic, negotiate panni, bargain panni, we have to buy that. First money for vegetables. And then vegetables come. Sanitize now. Yeah, you have to sanitizing it. Washing. It's not that we were not sanitizing before. Yeah. Even before we were doing it. But now it is more, it's more advanced. Yeah. So you have to spray it, spray the fellow, preparation, wash the vegetable, cut the vegetable, keep everything ready. These are indirect means for cooking or secondary means for cooking. You can call it indirect or you can call it secondary or you can call it preparatory. And then the vessel, everything is kept. The masalas are kept if you are using masala. If not, whatever it is, all are kept. And then finally, what cooks? The fire. Fire is the direct means for cooking. And the fireல கட் பண்ணாம vegetables எல்லாம் போட முடியாது. Even though fire is the direct means for cooking, you need to go through this preparation and then come to the fire. So he says, Pakasya vaknivajnanam vina moksho na siddhyati. So what is it said here? Moksha is the goal. To the qualified student, what is taught now? Moksha is the goal. And for moksha, there are two stages, secondary and primary. What is the secondary? What do you do in the secondary stage? Combination of karma, bhakti, jnanam, karma, bhakti, shravana, manana, and all that. By this combination, you mature yourself. And then you come to receive this knowledge. From now on starts the technical aspect of the knowledge, which is what real Atma Bodha is all about, which is what real knowledge of Vedanta is all about. Avirodhitaya karma avidya vinivartayet. Avirodhitaya karma. Action cannot destroy ignorance. Action cannot destroy ignorance. From here we start the study. Action cannot destroy ignorance. For what is ignorance? Action cannot destroy ignorance. How do you say action cannot destroy ignorance? Action itself is a product of ignorance. Action itself is a product of ignorance. Therefore, it will only perpetuate ignorance. Actions will perpetuate ignorance. All actions, sir. All actions, sir. What is the answer? Based on what you have studied till now. All actions perpetuate ignorance. If you say yes, no, you should not do anything. Huh? You can't say yes here and go back and do everything after 9 o'clock. So 9 o'clock, apprama, think what you are after 9 o'clock and answer. Huh? Shankar. If answer, don't, I'm not asking answer from Shankaracharya's standpoint. After 9 o'clock, think 10:30 now answer. Avirodhitaya karma. All actions perpetuate, actions perpetuate ignorance. No, no, sir. Not all actions, obligatory actions don't perpetuate because it is a preparation to gain. It is a preparation to gain knowledge. Therefore, obligatory actions don't perpetuate ignorance. Therefore, what you should be doing? Therefore, what you should be doing? Only obligatory actions. What you should not do at all, anything other than obligatory actions, do not do. The sequence is so clearly, the knowledge is so clearly establishing the sequence. Action cannot destroy ignorance. Action can mature you to receive the knowledge. But just as preparation for cooking versus actual cooking. Just as preparation for cooking versus actual cooking. So perform obligatory actions. See, when you do obligatory actions, will it be a burden? That is where Bhakti Yoga is combined in obligatory action. Obligatory action சொன்னாலே karma bhakti combined. You should understand that by now. Whenever we talk about obligatory action is a combination of karma and bhakti because obligation is arising out of gratitude. When it is arising out of gratitude, how can it be a burdensome action? Are you able to follow? So, obligatory action is a combination of karma and bhakti. Jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. That's why in the Gita and the Upanishads, they talk about action, meaning combination of action and emotion, and knowledge is separate. There are two types of knowledges. One knowledge is teaching you how to do an action. Carefully follow. There are two types of knowledge. One type of knowledge teaches you how to do an action. Another type of knowledge says the utility of such action. There are two types of knowledge. One type of knowledge teaches you how to act. Skill, intelligence. It teaches you how to act. And there is distinct and different from this knowledge is another type of knowledge. What is that? It exposes the limitations of action, where it exposes the limitations of action. And what are the limitations of action? What are the limitations of action? Selfish action, naraka. Unselfish action, swarga, punya. Action nale selfish, unselfish, selfless. Selfish action, naraka, hell, symbolica. Please understand. Symbolically, we are saying so that you can for understanding purposes. Selfish actions, naraka, direct. Unselfish action, punya, direct. Exhaust the benefits of it and come back. That's how action perpetuates ignorance, punarjanma. Action develops a consequence. Action creates vasanas. Action create a consequence as in punya or papa, and action creates vasanas. So both are limited by nature. And what is moksha? Permanency is moksha. Action cannot give anything permanent. By nature, action is limited, and the product of action also will be limited. Now the question is, how do I move from the limited to the unlimited? How do I move from the temporary to the permanent? What you call as temporary is nothing but a superimposition upon the reality. Starts. What you call as temporary is nothing but a superimposition upon the reality. What you call as a pot is nothing but a superimposition upon the clay. In effect, it is only clay. What you call as a chain is only gold. What you call as chain is only a gold. So these temporary is a superimposition upon the reality. The superimposed nama rupa keeps changing. The real doesn't. The real remains the same. Asato vidyate bhavaha na bhavo vidyate satah uvayorapi drishtontah tvanayoho tattvadarshibhihi. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 17. Asato vidyate bhavaha. That temporary is nothing but a superimposition upon the reality. That is explained. What is the temporary? Panchabhutas. If you see from the angle of Vedanta, it is called Panchabhutas. Doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter whether you study from the angle of Vedanta. You can study from the angle of biology, chemistry, physical properties, chemical properties, all. It doesn't really matter. Whatever it is, it has an amarupa, name and form. But one thing is there. What? All are temporary. You can call it as Panchabhutas temporary. You can call it as anatomy, physiology, psychology temporary. It doesn't really matter. How you arrive at the temporary? Arrive at the temporary. Are you okay till now? Yeah. Arrive at the temporary. So first the temporary is analyzed. How the temporary is analyzed? Vedantic way of analyzing the temporary is Panchabhutas, made up of 5 elements: body, mind, and intellect. All these are material equipments superimposed upon Brahman. Where there is a post, you see a what do you see? Where there is a post, you see a ghost. You see a person, you see a ghost. Where there is a rope, you see a snake. Superimposed. Are you able to see the difference? Where you see the post, you see where there is a post, you see a ghost. Superimposition. And you get carried away by that superimposition. What knowledge does? By discriminative self-analysis, segregate the two. By discriminative self-analysis, segregate and separate. Verses 16 to 29, the crux of Atmabodha. By discriminative self-analysis, separate Brahman from the Superimposition. I'm not going into the verses now. We get a ஒரு bird's eye view மாதிரி. By discriminative self-analysis, segregate the temporary and the real. That is knowledge. What is knowledge means? Seeing it as it is knowledge. Seeing the temporary as temporary is knowledge. Understanding the temporary as temporary is knowledge. What is superimposition? Projecting something else is superimposition, ignorance. Okay. Then comes what is Brahman? Okay, temporary எல்லாம் பத்தி பேசியாச்சு. We have discussed about the temporary. What is the temporary? Body, mind, intellect. There is a consciousness that enlivens it, enlightens it. All that is being discussed as the, all this belongs to the temporary. What is the permanent? Tat brahmet iti avadharayet. Tat brahmet iti avadharayet. Tat brahmet iti avadharayet. Know that to be Brahman. Know that to be Brahman, which is distinct and different from these material layers, equipments. Know that to be Brahman. Know that to be Brahman. We have seen that. And then comes, what is the methodology? What is the methodology? By the process of negation, assertion, meditation. The process of assertion, negation, meditation. Initially, we spoke about practices. What are the practices we spoke about initially? Some practices we spoke about initially to the qualified student. What are the practices that we spoke to the qualified student initially? Ravana, Manana, Karma, Bhakti, all that. Now, what is the practice? The process of negation, assertion, and meditation, nididhyasana. The process of assertion, negation, nididhyasana. By the process of assertion, negation, and meditation. Through the process of assertion, negation, and meditation, you realize the self. And what happens in that actual realization? It reveals itself. You don't do anything there. Abdina. So Abdina, Sravana, Manana, Karma, Bhakti, Nididhyasana, all that is the cause. Brahman becomes the effect. No. Don't bring that cause and effect relationship here. Don't do that. Self reveals itself. Vayam prakashate atma. And it reveals itself in two stages. One is like the light, the dawn. Remember that example? Even before the sun rises, that light itself destroys ignorance. So self reveals itself. And then the glory of the self-revelation is explained. By what light the light is seen. By what light the light is seen? You don't need a light to see the light. For it is self-revealing. Not only it reveals itself, it reveals everything else around also. எல்லாத்துக்கும் எக்ஸாம்பிள்ஸ் கொடுத்தனே வந்தாரு. He gave so many examples for all this. And if you remember all these examples, we will be able to follow the summary. Now, I am summarizing based on the examples only. Yeah. Swayam prakashate at. It reveals. And it reveals in two levels. How does it reveal? Like The like the light before the sun actually comes out. You can read a book, you can navigate yourself very clearly. Everything is clear. And when the sunlight comes, it's crystal clear. So the the self reveals itself. The self reveals itself. And then the Palashruti. What is the Palashruti? As the last verse we did last week. Yeah, I think so. What is the Palashruti? The last verse. Digdesha Kalama. No, Digdesha Kalam. That is it reveals itself. So, this is the entire Atma Bodha in its. I'm not getting into the details of the qualities of Brahman. I'm not getting into that. Or if we have to do that, we have to go to the verses. I'm not doing that. We got a bird's eye view of what the knowledge is. With this bird's eye view, if you read Atma Bodha, you will know exactly where you are and what is the next level. You will know exactly where you are and what is the next stage. What is the next stage? What is the next stage? This is the knowledge. Ravana, Manana, Karma, Bhakti is the preparatory practices. Jnanam is the direct means for liberation. In Jnanam, there is no action. Recognizing it as it is, you don't have any role in that. In action, you have a role. In knowledge, you don't have a role. You see it as it is. That is knowledge. In action, you do something. So karma bhakti is born out of action. Jnanam is born out of knowledge. And then there are two types of knowledges. What is the knowledge? There is a knowledge of the skill. There is a knowledge of the skill. There is a knowledge of the technique. That is one type of knowledge. How to perform an action, what has to be done before, what has to be done after. That's why in the yajna ritual, there is a lot of detailing about the action, which is the skill part of an action. But all that is in relation to the action, but that knowledge of the skill of an action and you performing action skillfully doesn't free you from the bondage of action. Are you able to follow? You performing the action skillfully. That's why he says intelligence is different. That intelligence is not going to liberate you. This is a very subtle distinction between one type of knowledge about action, another type of action that liberates you from ignorance, another type of, knowledge. So knowledge itself is of two types because you need knowledge of how to act also, no? That is also knowledge, correct? You need knowledge of how to act, what should be done first, what should be done later, what should not be done. All this is knowledge. But this is not Jnana Yoga. This is not Atma Bodha. This is not knowledge of the self. What is knowledge of the self? Knowledge of the self says, pure you are, pure you are already. But I should know it now. No, you know it. You know it. Kenopanishad. Everybody knows it. Everybody is experiencing. Everybody is, as you are now, you are Brahman. As you are now, you are experiencing Brahman. You do not know it. In Kenopanishad, so beautifully in part 2 of Kenopanishad, the Guru says that. So beautifully he says in the first few mantras of part 2. Naham manyeshu vedeti nona vedeti vedacha yonastadveda tadveda yona vedeti vedata tasyamatam tasyamatam matam yasyana vedasah avijñatam vijanatam vijñatam abhijanatam. At any given point of time, even when you think you are this limited individual, you are Brahman only. All that you need to do is what? Disconnect. All that you need to do is what? Disconnect. That's all. That disconnection is not what we are ready to. But that disconnect we are not yet ready for. Therefore, what do we do? Go back. Go back. Go back to what? Go back to Shravana Manana Karma Yoga Bhakti Yoga. Sir, but the Shravana Manana Karma Yoga Bhakti Yoga ore tala suttaradu. Nothing is clear, understandable. Go back to where? No. Go back to where? Pure you are already, that is out of syllabus. Let us forget it for a while. Yeah. Pure you are already, even when you are seeing a snake, even when you are seeing the snake, there is no snake. Okay, that is out of, yeah, that is out of syllabus. So, other odiki vachachi. Ravana, Manana, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. That itself is that is also too much to do, to follow, to comprehend. That is also too much to assimilate, digest, practice. Now, where do you go? Sadhana Chatushtaya. Go back to Sadhana Chatushtaya. Become the qualified Patram. Become the qualified Patram. And what is the Sadhana Chatushtaya? Now, I am not starting again. Huh? அப்படி இப்படின்னு 9 o'clock வரைக்கும் டைம் பாஸ் பண்ணிட்டேன் சாதன சதுஷ்டயம் கொண்டு வந்து again again I'm not going back again I'm not going back into them. What is sadhana chatushtaya? The 4 Ds. Sadhana chatushtayam என்ன பண்ணோம்? 4 Ds. What are the 4 Ds? Whatever be it. And then the second part of sadhana chatushtaya is karta bhokta. So the karta bhokta component, the sadhana chatushtaya, makes you a qualified patram to receive the knowledge. What is the knowledge? It says moksha is the goal, and this moksha cannot be gotten just by listening that there is moksha. Just by listening that there is Brahman, you don't attain it, you don't realize it, you don't recognize it. There is a preparatory practice, and then there is a primary practice, and then there is a secondary practice. There is an initial stage, and then there is the final stage. What do you do in the initial stage? What do you do in the initial stage? Shravana Manana, Karma Bhakti. With all this, you are qualified to receive the knowledge. And what is the knowledge? That which you are seeking, you are that already. That which you are seeking, you are that already. Tat Tvam Asi. Tat Tvam Asi. This Tat Tvamasi is Atma Bodha. So it talks about Sadhana Chatushtaya, it talks about the preparation, and then it talks about how to get there. Nididhyasana. What is the Nididhyasana? Assertion, negation, meditation. All these a seeker follows, all these a person follows in the krama, in the sequentially, not mixing it up, not jumbling it up. Yeah. What has to be done first has to be done first. What has to be done second has to be second. All this has to be followed in the krama, in the sequentially. That's why Swamiji keeps on saying people don't understand spiritual practice as a scientific methodological practice. People just do it so arbitrarily. They just pick up something from here, they just pick up something from here, randomly they pick up and they try to do it. It doesn't work that way. It has to be a sequential methodology. Following this, you attain the knowledge of Brahman, Atma Bodha. This is the summary of Atma Bodha. At our summary kadayadu, we will start some other, we will be doing some other text. And what that text is, we will post it in the group. In the Vedanta classes group, we will post it. And mostly, I'm intending to do the book called Thesis on God. I'm planning to. I'm intending to do the text thesis on God. Atma Bodha படிச்சிருக்கிறோம். So let us study the thesis on God. Let us study the thesis on God also. After that, what we will do, sir? If we survive that also, we will. If you survive that also, you will see what do we do. This is Atma Bodha summary. Do you have anything?
Yes, Alpana.
Yes, Alpana, yes.
Sir, Hari Om.
Yeah.
The question was from last week where we were discussing verse number 68. And in that verse, it is mentioned about renouncing all activities. He worships the shrine of one's Atman, which is independent of time, space, direction, etc. So the question was, what does etc. exactly mean here? What is the implication?
Yeah. Time, space, direction, etc. Adi, meaning you transcend all that is of material by nature. Etc. means you take the world, it is made up of a almost infinite variety of things. So he gives time, space, direction as a indicator of that and says Adi, etc. Digdesha Kaladi, etc. Meaning you transcend everything of this world. In that sense, etc. That's what the word etc. means here.
So all material limitations, all conditioning.
Yes. All material limitations, conditioning, all worldly knowledges, all worldly wisdom, all worldly science, technology, endless list. That list is endless, no? That's why that's what is meant by Adi, etc. That's what is meant.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, okay, ma? Yes. Next. Yes, Venkatachalam. Yes. One second. We will unmute and then you can. Yes.
Yeah, I got it unmuted. My question is, the subject that we dealt with about a wonderful subject of Jnana Chakshu.
Yes.
And when you were talking about Jnana Chakshu, you were talking about a confluence of knowledge and a devotion.
Yes.
We understood the sequence and the place for devotion or karma, bhakti stage before we get to Jnana Yoga, at the time of Jnana Yoga,
Yes.
Karma Bhakti do not have a place, but they have already prepared you. If at all,
Yes.
they have only prepared you.
Yes, they
The-
have prepared.
Just my only doubt is the confluence means that you have the purified mind of mind, or you continue to have the same devotion, because the devotion, it's only the purification of the mind.
Yes, yes, it's the purified mind. See, technically speaking, devotion implies the devotee unto the one whom you are devoted to. Devotion implies two. The devotee unto the one whom you are devoted to. Confluence is a kind of a very elevated, nobler state of purification, where when the mind says, when the knowledge says that you are the self, the mind is also goes along with it because of the purification.
Because
Mind is not resisting it.
mind is resisting.
Mind doesn't resist that. Otherwise, the mind will resist. How can you say, I am God? I am limited with all the sins, with all the papas that I have done. How can I be God? How can how can a terrorist be God? Yeah, we keep so many things keeps coming because of this thing that you are God. Everything is God. Now, confluence is jnana chakshu is all this is gone. That's what is that's where we spoke about the confluence of the head and the heart. Meaning the personality is so synchronized. Did I help you?
Oh,
Venkata?
yes, yes, sir. And only one more question. It appears that while we are pursuing the Jnana Yoga, equally important, or right from the beginning, ignorance is another major factor, limiting factor, right, in the form of vasanas or our raga dvesha. They
Yes.
all continue to be the another player, another major inhibitor.
Correct. That is why in the initial stages, Vedanta gives you the conviction to practice Shravana Manana Karma Bhakti. Karma Bhakti. Jnana Yoga helps you in two ways. In the initial stages, the same knowledge gives you the conviction to practice Shravana Manana Karma and Bhakti. Once you have sufficiently practiced that and matured, the same knowledge tells you to go to the next level also. So it is the same knowledge that teaches you to do that. It is the same knowledge that teaches you rise above that also. So that's why it is such a comprehensive knowledge, where because it is the same Vedantic knowledge that tells you do Shravana Manana Karma Bhakti, do that. Don't stop that. Don't do that. Once you have sufficiently done that and gained a maturity, a purity, you can use any word. You can use the word maturity, you can use the word purity, doesn't matter. And then you are ready to digest this. Because this Ravana, Manana, Karma, Bhakti, Jnana Yoga is a Karma Bhakti is that which makes you into a mumukshu. Makes you into a mumukshu. Mumukshu means one who has an intense thirst for liberation. Right now, we don't have that intense thirst. Looking at the benefits of moksha, everybody says, I only want moksha, sir. I only want moksha, sir. And this must be my last janma, sir. I don't want any more janma. All that is because of we have heard the benefits of the knowledge and we are asking for that. We are not yet matured into mumukshatva. So the same knowledge says, become a mumukshu first. In order to become a mumukshu, what you need to do? Shravana, Manana, Karma, Bhakti. That's where in the very first verses of Atma Bodha, 1, 2, and 3. Similarly, in chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita, similarly in the Upanishads, they clearly establish the sequence. They clearly establish the sequence. They say, no doubt this is the goal, but just saying goal doesn't make any sense. I have to be prepared also. I want to become a doctor, I want to become a doctor, I want to become a doctor. Saying that is of no use. Yeah. I want to become the doctor and I go to Ganesha temple. What is the connection? Yeah, I want to become a doctor. Now, what should I study? What should I do? Yeah. Maths படிக்கணும், physics படிக்கணும், chemistry படிக்கணும். Yeah, maths, physics, chemistry, biology is not my cup of tea, sir, but I want to become a doctor. How is it possible? So, the preparation. So, no doubt you want to become the doctor. That is the goal. And you have to go about achieving the goal sequentially. So, first they talk about Karma Yoga. And they give you so much of technique of Karma Yoga, so much of knowledge about Karma Yoga. And then they talk about Bhakti Yoga, so much of practices and knowledge about Bhakti Yoga, telling you that purify yourself, have gratitude, purify yourself, have gratitude. And then you develop all that and you reach a very good level of growth. Then they will look at you and say, what purification are you talking about? Pure you are already. And the twist is very difficult to digest. That twist, yeah, that climax is what is almost impossible to, and to come to that climax, so much of preparation is needed. Purify yourself, have gratitude, and then finally it comes and says gratitude towards whom? Gratitude towards what? Brahmarpanam brahmavihi brahmagno brahmanahutam brahmaiva tena gantavyam brahma karma samadhina. Gratitude towards whom? To what? Then we will be utterly confused. Tell us very clearly what is it. Say very clearly, should I purify myself or not? Should I have gratitude or not? At one level, you need to do it. At another level, you need to rise above it also. Beautiful. That's where the confluence comes. That's where the confluence. Otherwise, we take pockets and we get stuck. The biggest difficulty in spiritual path is people get stuck with pockets. One person will get stuck with karma completely. Another person gets stuck with bhakti completely. Another person gets stuck with just merely theorizing that you are Brahman, you are Brahman, you are Brahman, merely theorizing it, which doesn't help the person in any way. Nor are we doing a hodgepodge of all this here. Here, we are trying to understand it sequentially and follow everything in a krama. Double promotion la inga kadiyadu. Yeah, school la you get double promotion, isn't it? I don't know nowadays. I don't know whether they do it or not. In previously, they used to be this double promotion, no? Third standard to fifth standard. It means what? Third and fourth, you are going to study the same thing only. Why can't you give double promotion from 9th standard to university? You cannot do that. You have to go through that. You have to go through that krama sequence. There it is. It is methodic. It is systematic. It takes you to the goal. Elsewhere, the Upanishad says, many have attained to this goal by following this sequence. The Upanishad says, many have attained this by following this sequence. The confluence. That many have attained is the devotion, is that inspiration. Are you okay, Venkatachalam? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, with this we conclude for today, and next week we would start with the book Thesis on God and we will anyway the announcement will be made in the class group about the text that we are intending. As of now, I'm thinking we will do the thesis on Ganga.